What's a secret you will take to the grave, but you don't mind telling on the internet? My mom gave me her old phone when I was 12. She deleted the messages off the phone, but not off the SIM card. I came across them when I was bored months later. It was my parents sexting each other, just text. I shiver when I remember this. I worked for a shipping company at a customer desk. A guy I had known came in to ship a package. He was a known drug dealer in my town. He didn't recognize me. The package was wrapped in duct tape. I took the package, brought it out back, and made it disappear into my backpack. After my shift, I opened the package and found $37,000 in cash. I never went back to the job and never heard anything about it. I left Texas a month later with cash in hand. Reply: power, play. Also, that dude probably got murdered. Then my oldest son died in prison and not in a hunting accident. He made a mistake that got him sent to prison and committed suicide. However, the majority of my family is severely Mormon and looks down on that. So, I basically copied how Baratheon died in Game of Thrones when I told them what happened. No sense in them looking down on him for things that they have no business knowing. The only person that knows is his stepmother, because we had to pay for an attorney to try and keep him out of lockup. A friend told me a story about this plumber from her town, a guy who was really simple and kind of childlike, but more or less functional. This other guy was known to beat his girlfriend. The plumber told him after one incident, in front of a bunch of people from town, that if he hit her again, he'd kill him and shove a pipe up his ass. After the next time he beat her up, he was found dead in a ditch with a pipe up his ass. The police were unable to find any leads and quietly dropped the case. When my brother committed suicide, I was walking into his house to go hang out, and I never knocked because we're best friends, so his house is my house and my house is his house. Anyway, I walked in, got some food from the kitchen, and figured he might have a girl over because usually he'll hear me and say what's up from across the house, so I didn't bother him. I'd been in his house eating for about 10 minutes when I heard the gunshot that killed him. When anyone asks, I tell them I found him like that. I don't think I'll ever be able to tell anyone I know that if I would have just knocked or walked down the hall, I might have saved his life. Edit. To give an insight into any reasoning for what my brother did, whether it be financial issues, relationship troubles, or what have you, I'll give you the last line of the short note he wrote before he died. It reads, "So I'm truly sorry if you think I'm being selfish when I have been selfless my entire life, and it has left me with nothing. Rest in peace, brother. I miss you." I'm the only person who actually knows how my mom died. I told the rest of my family that her diabetes got her, but she overdosed. Her heart was broken after my little brother passed 3 months earlier, and she just stopped using discretion or moderation. The rest of the family had their suspicions, but I just kept lying. I definitely can't tell anyone the truth after that performance. Took a semester off school to travel Europe for 6 months. Had a friend cover for me and say we were roommates, and I occasionally voice called my parents to let them know how I was doing through Skype. I didn't have the heart to tell them I needed a break, and I knew they wouldn't allow such a thing to happen. I took the money I had for that semester and used it to pay for my airfare and stay for 3 to 4 months. I backpacked and paid very little but gained a lot. In the late 90s, my father's older brother, my uncle, was terminally ill with cancer in his mid-70s and expected to live up to another 12 months. He had no quality of life, was in and out of the hospital, heavily drugged, frail, and unable to bathe himself or use the bathroom alone. My aunt was distraught, but wanted to keep him alive as long as possible regardless of his condition. A doctor took my father aside and said he was willing to increase my uncle's morphine drip and end his life. The increase would not be recorded on his chart. According to my dad, the doctor called it an unofficial act of mercy. My father, who didn't have power of attorney, agreed, and my uncle passed peacefully that day. My father told me over a quiet drink a few weeks after the funeral. He said he felt that doctor offered an incredible kindness that not everyone would understand, and I understood this meant to keep it between us. My father passed a decade later. He and I never spoke of it again, and I've never told anyone. I think this kind of thing happened a lot back in the day. Maybe it still does. Maybe it was easier back than have things go unrecorded or unnoticed. I don't know. I fully believe my father did this out of love for his brother, and it makes me very proud of how much courage he needed to do that. Reply: this still does happen, if it makes you feel any better. It makes me feel better that so many people can get comfort and peace instead of pain in their final moments. My body count from paying to get laid. The last time I did it with some crackhead, that's when I realized, oh my God, what are you doing with your life? It's been a while, and I've stopped it. Now, I'm slowly trying to understand why I went down that path. Mostly because of deeper psychological issues. I'm an Indian abroad, by the way. I'm trying to cope by going to strip clubs now, just getting a lap dance and leaving. It's less harmful. The thing is that I genuinely want to be with the one, but lack of care and deep fulfillment is causing me to cope in other ways. Reply: my ex did some major emotional damage to me from being like this too. I had major trust issues for many years with partners after him because he was so addicted to sex, porn, women in general. It disgusted me, after a while, just how little he valued females. It seems that he felt we were born just for man's pleasure and nothing more. I was 15 in a time before mobile phones. My grandmother was dying, and my grandfather sat at her side for 2 days, refusing to leave. He slept in a terrible armchair. We brought food in for him. My parents tried to comfort him every now and then. He would need the toilet, and bless him, he would make us all leave the room so he could use a bedside commode. On the 3rd day, I was alone with the two of them, and he told me he needed to leave to take a shower and get some fresh air. It took him hours to make the decision to leave. About 15 minutes before he returned, my grandmother died in front of me. It was quiet. It was peaceful. It was devastating. I didn't tell any nurses or doctors. I was in shock. I saw suffering, then a last breath, and death, all within seconds of each other. He returned and sat down. I left to go for a walk and try to cope with what had happened. When I returned, he told me that he had said his goodbyes and held her hand while she died. Grandpa died 11 years later believing he had held her hand and was there until the very end. I haven't told another human soul that story, and I still believe I did the right thing. Reply: I think my mom did that. My brother was with her and told her he was stepping out to use the restroom. When he came back a few minutes later, Mom was gone. That was like her. She didn't want to make a fuss or a big scene. She just quietly slipped out the side door when everyone was gone. Second reply: that was my first thought. She didn't want him there. Out of love, of course. My mother killed my father when I was 8 years old with a shotgun blast to the face. He bled out through what was left of his head into my lap. Blood has a smell, a stink, when there's enough of it around. She got off because it was a self-defense situation. She sent me to school the next day, and ever since I pretended that I'm a well-adjusted, stable person. I'm not. I know my half-sister's oldest child is not the biological child of her first husband. She married the guy to get the heck out of our mother's house. They had a daughter 5 years later who looks nothing like the son, but the guy was simply blinded by love for my half-sister. 12 years later, she married another guy in what she referred to as an upgrade. 3 years later, she married that guy's friend in what she called another upgrade. She was able to justify each divorce with some made-up reason and turn the kids against the only father they knew. I have not seen or heard from anyone in my family for 23 years because they are crazier than I am. Absolutely. I hope few people will see this story and no one will recognize me. I want to apologize right away if there are any mistakes because English is not my native language. So about the secret, I have been carrying this burden all my life and no one knows about it except me and my father, because he was the one who sexually harassed me when I was a child. This went on for a very long time, but unfortunately, I don't remember the exact time. Maybe when I was 5 to 8 years old. I don't remember exactly when it started and when it stopped, and I don't remember much from that time, but I remember well my feelings when I was sure that something was wrong with me. At some point, I thought that all families are like this, and it's normal. But then I began to realize what was really happening, and at the same time, hatred began to emerge. Toward myself, toward my father, toward my family. Because how could they not notice it? A lot of years have passed, but this burden is still with me, and I will not tell anyone about it until one of us dies. I don't want to ruin the family, although he's really not a good person at all and treats my mom and others badly in many ways, but I don't want to make my mom's situation worse. She's already in a bad place. So yes, I will take this secret to my grave. When I was 8, my family was camping. Everyone else was at the beach beside our site, and I was in the tent trailer reading comics in my swimsuit when my stomach suddenly dropped. I knew instantly that I had about 3 seconds before disaster. I sprinted to the washroom without telling anyone and started pooping before I even made it inside. By the time I yanked my swimsuit down, liquid lava went everywhere, the toilet, the floor, my legs. It was a full meltdown. Thankfully, the showers were in the same building. No one was around, so I jumped in and started washing myself and my swimsuit with a sad little hand soap dispenser. I left the stall looking like a crime scene, but walked back to camp mostly dry thanks to the heat. I lay on a beach chair afterward like I'd survived a natural disaster. A few hours later, after supper, my mom took us back to the washroom to get ready for bed, and the mess was still there. My siblings were laughing and roasting whoever blew up the bathroom, and my mom scolded them, saying it was probably a handicapped person and they should be ashamed. I've never told a soul. I will never tell my family. Thank you, Reddit, for letting me finally confess. The way I created a quicker guide for a coworker who was struggling with work. I sent him every single piece of documentation I had that helped me. He's since been promoted and is still my coworker. He felt worried about security due to his older age. I got you, sir. I got you. My much younger brother had a laptop back in his high school years with one of those fake pop-ups claiming it had some malware that are popular from some adult websites. I did the routine cleanup for him and saw some pictures downloaded from those kind of websites. Anyway, he's bringing his boyfriend to Christmas this year after finally coming out to the family last year, even though my wife and I knew his preferences for at least 15 years. I grew up thinking I was part of the X-Men and would train in the backyard and swimming pool. My dad thought I was drowning one day because I held my breath underwater for so long, so he jumped in to save me. I was in like 7th grade. I never told my dad that holding my breath for as long as I could was part of my mutant training. I never told him I thought I was part of the X-Men because I didn't want the government to get involved. Reply: solid move. Government still doesn't know. Don't tell anyone about us. Then my husband and I were married by a justice of the peace before the home wedding I insisted on. My mother wanted us to elope, but after she skipped my high school and college graduations, I was damned if I was going to let her slide out on the wedding too, so I had it in her house. It was a small ceremony. I paid for everything, including the post-wedding supper at a local restaurant, but you'd have thought I was killing her. Both she and my dad have passed, so now I can tell the world. Edit. To add, we had to be married before the Navy would station us together. My oldest sister, who was put up for adoption, was a product of rape when my mom was in college. Around the same time, she was stabbed. May or may not have been connected. My brothers don't know. My mom doesn't know I know. To make matters worse, my middle brother was accused of rape in high school, which I'm fairly sure he did, and sees little problem with it besides an inconvenience from 2 girls he knew. That I don't actually have friends. I just go out and sit in the woods or go to the pizza place nearby and just wait. Then I come home at night and go to sleep. Edit. Val? Shit. I expected this to just disappear. Thanks so much to all of you for being really cool. I hate humanity a little less now. Then my father and uncle raped me when I was 6. They have both committed suicide now. Psychological, physical, and sexual abuse have run in this family for generations. It's not allowed to be talked about. When my aunt was young, She told teachers about her father raping her, and the family was very upset that she told. Not at all upset that it was happening. When my mom died, I was given her wedding ring. The wedding ring she and my dad shared. I was 16. Whenever I missed her, I would hold it and think of her. My family sucks, and my dad is an abusive piece of shit. He kicked me out at 19 for speaking out about the abuse, and my boyfriend walked out on me after 3 years about a year later. I used the ring to pay for rent when I had a mental breakdown and couldn't find a decent paying job. I know I didn't do anything wrong and that it was a good decision. I just can't imagine telling my family and getting verbally abused for it when I was on my own and no one who should have been there for me was. I want it back. It made me feel close to her, but sometimes life just sucks, I guess. When I was 14, my sister threw a high school party when my dad was out of town. I came home from a friend's house to find a bunch of random people in my bedroom, playing my Xbox and going through my closet. I called the cops and told them I didn't want anyone in trouble, but wanted the party to end. They came, rang the doorbell, and the entire party scattered out our back door into the woods. LOL. She still thinks it was my buddy's mom who dropped me off at home. In high school, during a school trip, me and some buddies let me smoke with them for the first time. I wanted to try it. 20 minutes later, the chaperones came to check on us and immediately noticed it. So we all got punished during the trip. After we got back to school the next week, we all met with the principal and SRO one by one. My buddies all vouched for me, saying I did not partake, so I avoided expulsion. To this day, my family still doesn't know what happened. Only my brother and my friends know. Back in high school, I told my family I found a stray puppy on the side of the road on my way home from work. In reality, someone was giving away free puppies out of a truck in the grocery store parking lot I drive past to get home. We kept him LOL, and no one knows. When I was 7 years old, I stole a Costco pecan pie out of my dad's truck that he had bought for a family party for Thanksgiving. I hid under our lemon tree and ate as much as I could, and then dug a hole in the far corner of our property and buried the evidence. To this day, my dad questions whether or not he had actually bought the pie or just forgot to grab it. I will never tell. My siblings and I were not allowed to have sweets or anything with too much sugar growing up, so I saw my opportunity and took it. When my son was first born, I called my public health office to put him up for adoption. He was 5 days old. He was a very much planned and wanted baby, and I had every means to take care of him. Unbeknownst to me, it was the beginning of a battle with postpartum OCD, and I hadn't slept more than a couple of hours for those 5 days, to the point I was hallucinating. Only 5 days in, and I couldn't take it anymore. The public health nurse came to my home immediately. She put my baby to sleep in his bassinet, then sat with me for hours at my kitchen table as I wailed to her about everything I was afraid of. Thankfully, she knew I didn't want to put my baby up for adoption. I just needed help. She referred me to emergency therapy, a program made just for postpartum mothers. My son is 2.5 years old today, and thinking about that day still makes me physically sick. I love him more than anything, and he lives an amazing life with a now healthy and happy mom. Thank God for that nurse. I'm an out lesbian, but a few weeks ago I had sex with a male friend of mine. He's gay. We both got drunk and curious and had never been with the opposite sex. Edit. We both actually kind of enjoyed it. And for those wondering, I'm not a butch, I am a femme. We had made out a few times before while drunk, then we sort of got curious and decided to go for it. And we both have expressed interest in trying it again. The reason why I would take this to the grave is, as some people have pointed out, there is so much baggage involved in identifying as a bisexual woman, especially when I have been an out lesbian for most of my adult life. Coming out was the hardest thing I have ever done, and I am ashamed to admit I was one of those lesbians who hated on bisexual women as being fence sitters, etc. And I worry that if people know that my friend and I slept together, it would just reinforce stereotypes about gay men and women just needing to find the right member of the opposite sex to set them straight. We are both single, and I honestly don't know what to think. My friend is the first dude I have ever been attracted to, and I think I'm the first woman he's been sexually attracted to as well. So as much as we want to explore it, we are both a bit weirded out by it. Uncle tragically passed away last year. Never married, no kids, treated his 10 nieces and nephews like we could do no wrong. I also found out he was probably gay, and I don't think he was out to my family, or at least to most of us. No one would have had a problem with it. But it's hard to come out when my grandma just wants to set her youngest baby up with all the ladies, you know? She's persistent, but means well. She's also a tad oblivious at times. But she's in her 80s. Anyway, after he passed, my dad and I were in charge of finding files for the book he was supposedly writing about our family. We want to finish the book and publish it in his name. My dad was having no luck finding files on his hard drive, so I took a stab at it. Dad isn't the best at computers. I found dating site photos he had taken, shirtless mirror pics, photos of guys I assume he was talking to, and Imo, he could have done better. You're the best uncle and only deserve the best. I also saw his history when I was looking through his browsers and bookmarks to get to his emails and accounts. I forget if I deleted it yet. If I haven't, I will. I figured the search history was confirmation enough for me. I went to counseling for abuse after my parents divorced, and I was never abused, so they put me in the regular room with all the people who were waiting for their siblings. I claim my father abused me, so I could go to the special room with all the abused kids. It was horrible. I had no right being in that room with all those people. They were all really messed up from what their parents had done to them. And I just got in so I could play Yu-Gi-Oh! Edit. I was probably 7 or 8, and for what I know, my father did not get in trouble. I see him every week. I didn't know what I was doing back then. At 5, the husband of my mom's cousin raped me. I remember that night my mom bathing his daughter and me together. I was too afraid to sit in the water because it hurt so badly, to which the daughter told me, "Don't worry, it'll stop hurting once you get in." I didn't tell anyone because I didn't want to break that family apart since it was already so fragile. 4th grade me after sex ed. It's probably too late now, but I wish I'd said something because looking back, his kids were really messed up